Crimean ammo supplies destroyed by Ukrainians. Why the war in Ukraine?
The biggest news today is out of Crimea. The Ukrainians eventually discovered a momentary gap in the Russian airspace during a series of widespread drone attacks on the peninsula.
It appears that Russian forces concentrated their air defense in the northern part of Crimea to protect the bridges and in the southern portion of Crimea to protect the Black Sea Fleet in response to strikes on the bridges and the fleet.
Because of this, Ukrainian drones were able to enter Russian airspace by a wide margin yesterday and concurrently approach 3 Russian airfields in the far back.
Huge explosions occurred in the Krasnohrardiysky neighborhood this morning. Following the strike, nearby people reported hearing more detonations.
It was later discovered that Ukrainians had successfully hit many targets at once. One of Crimea's largest airfields, where Ukrainian forces managed to demolish a sizable ammo storage, became their first target.
The Oktyabrskoye oil storage was the second place Ukrainian soldiers turned their attention.
The decision to evacuate everyone within a 5 km radius was made as a result of frequent secondary detonations occurring only 2.5 km from the town and large fires.
Additionally, because the community was situated directly next to a major railway, the train progress was halted.
Later, the Kerch Bridge was also shut down by the Russians under the increased threat of further strikes, so today's primary supply routes were completely cut off.
By the way, a lot of people questioned the choice to prioritize the railroad above the Kerch Road Bridge in terms of destruction. But aside from being more brittle, it also caused serious issues for the Russians in Zaporizhia in the short term.
Putin said that the Kerch Bridge's road is not utilized by the military, but the head of the Crimean administration pleaded with everyone to avoid using it so that military supplies could travel without hindrance.
Consequently, by removing the road bridge, nearly all.
In fact, Ukrainian fighters claimed that the shortages began to materialize the day before yesterday as Russian retaliation decreased in frequency and intensity. Additionally, this resulted in more Russian actions and counterattacks being carried out with little to no artillery assistance, making numerous secondary value areas from somewhat secure to extremely deadly.
And it was at this very moment when numerous Russian war reporters began dying quickly.
Russian combat correspondent Rostislav Zhiravlev and his team came under fire from Ukrainian artillery today while they were reporting on how Russian drones are disabling Ukrainian weaponry.
They were all still dispersed throughout the Russian base and preparing to advance closer to the line of engagement. He was the only victim of the assault.
Yesterday it was made public that Misha na Donbass, a well-known military blogger and war correspondent, had also perished after coming under artillery fire close to Krasnohrardiysky. While Ukrainian reports assert that he perished after a cluster shell explosion, Russian sources assert that he died after a successful Ukrainian counterattack. During today's PR tour to Bakhmut, Russian MP Alexander Borodin came under artillery fire from the Ukrainians.